Well, it's 11:01. Welcome in everyone to the weekly EKU football Zoom press conference. Joined as always by head football coach Walt Wells, and we're joined by three student athletes today. Jordon Thomas, Matt Morrissey, and Patrick Nation should be joining us in a little bit. Coach, we'll start with your opening statement as always, and then from there we'll open the floor up to questions from the media. Coach?
All right, great. Thanks for everybody being here. Happy Election Day, and hope everybody is enjoying that day. And I am excited about the opportunities we have ahead of us this week. But before I start, I'd like to extend my condolences to the Tex Bailey family and to our football family. Tex was a great young man who characteristics were just really unbelievable teammate, unbelievable person, always positive, always working hard, always caring about others, and he'll be sorely missed on this planet. But I'm sure he's in a much better place and smiling down, and and that's hard for us to understand, but I feel that in my heart. So we'll miss Tex, but got a chance to see him just not homecoming, but the game before that. I can't remember the home game before that. He was in town. He came to the game. Didn't recognize him. He shaved and cut his hair and lost a bunch of weight. So good for him. But again, our condolences to him and his family. I know they're having his service on Friday at 3 o'clock in Huntsville. So we'll be praying for them. But what a great weekend we had in Tarleton, or Stephenville, Texas, at Tarleton State. Go down and really play all three phases. What I feel like was extremely well. Played extremely hard and played with a ton of passion, I think. And I think that's what we've been searching for is consistency in all three groups, and we found that. And very proud of all three. Our defense played lights out and did a great job. Our offense managed the game and kept us, in the game. I mean, turning the ball over. We turned it over twice. Once in their territory, but once it was a long pass. But both times, it's inside the 10. So, it gave them long fields. And our special teams did a great job. Pat breaking the record, but also Jacob Bateman pinning the in there 2 or 3 times. So I'm just really pleased with the kids and the players and what they did and how they played and how they performed. Speaks a lot about them and then our staff and putting them in those positions. But we gotta flush that after this right here and move on to Central Arkansas, because they're a really good football team, well coached. Coach Brown does a great job. They played well throughout the year and stubbed their toe a little bit up in Utah this weekend, but it's a talented team with a lot of team speed. So we got a great one coming in here this weekend, and should be a fun and exciting game. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
All right, Michael Watkins.
Watching your post game interview with Greg, you were very emotional, and obviously it's a big win for you guys. But talk about what you were feeling after that game yourself, following the big win.
Well, I was just, I mean, quite frankly, I probably got emotional when we started talking about Tex, but because you see a young man, he was here when I got here. He was a true freshman when I got here, so he'd been here one semester. And you see a young man grow up and go through the ebbs and flows of life and figure out what he wants to do and he's going after it. He already had his degree, but now he's coming back to go after and being a game warden, and you just realize it's over. And it flashes back to me a little bit. So I was 54 when my deal happened, and I'm sitting here like, this kid's 24, probably 25. I'm not sure how old Dexter was, but so that part of it. But the part of it with the game, you worked hard to play a game like that. And I truly believe it was one of our more complete games that we played. All the efforts that our coaches have put in, all the effort that our players have put in, and then our support staff and everybody that's around us, and be able to enjoy that moment and beat a ranked team on the road in Texas, which, everybody, Texas is Texas. And, it just, you're just happy, you're a little relieved, glad you got it done. But I'll be honest with you, Mike, I felt that way all week. I felt like if we played to our ability, we could win it, no problem. And I'm not saying we won it with no problems, but I mean, you know what I mean, we could win it. And I believe that. And that's why we talked about, a 15-round fight. And, that probably got me a little emotional because I felt like the team bought into that. And that's what we talked about.
The way Matt played, the numbers are not going to blow you away, but he did his job and he made some plays with his legs as well. So talk about what you asked of him in that game and how he went out there and managed it for you and was a big part of the reason why you all won.
Well, I think kind of got his medal with our team after that game. And I told him, you earned some deep respect from your team doing it because of the physicality that you ran the football. He had one long ball that he misplaced and it got picked off and it was inside the 10 or something like that down there. And we corrected him on that, but he had to affect the game running the ball, or they were just going to gang up on Josh, and Josh wouldn't have it. And so when he ran it effectively, and the energy he provided when he hit that one kid, kid fell or whatever, and kind of embarrassed him. But and our sidelines just fed off that energy, and I think that is what we've been kind of needing and looking for, and he gave it to him. We're going to have to be better in the pass game. We all know that. But on Saturday night, we were efficient when we did what we did. We only passed 31 yards, so it wasn't, huge efficiency. But a couple of them were first downs, and those are critical.
Josh, I mean, they're in that fourth quarter. It seemed like you guys had the ball for a while, and it seemed like every time he was breaking multiple tackles on some big runs, especially that touchdown that gave you all the lead there late. So just talk about him. I know last week you were really bragging on him and how you thought he should be being mentioned as one of the top backs in the conference, but he went out there and really put it on display last Saturday.
Well, I think that's a credit to Josh and his offensive line and tight ends and the offensive staff and understanding what was going to win that game and I thought Andy called a really good game because it's not in his nature to throw it 11 times, as we all know and have seen around here, and that's okay. But it shows his understanding of the situation that we were in, and that if he could just keep handing the ball off and keeping their offense off the field, and keep finding ways to get first downs, I think that speaks a lot. But then the way Josh played and carried the ball. It makes our offensive line better. How does it make it better? Everybody thinks it's just by running. No, it's the toughness that he brings when he runs that makes them want to strain more and do things more and do things better. And I think you're seeing a guy like Tyrell Green growing up in front of our eyes. He's a true freshman who's been starting at offensive guard since the West Georgia game, I think it is. And just other guys doing really well. And then when they're not, the way Josh runs, they know, hey, I got to come back and I can't miss it. And so he did a great job. I mean, Braden Latham did a great job. And, he had the one bad mistake on the goal line. But, I mean, that whole drive to get down to that goal line was him in there. And so I've said since the beginning of this season that, running back is our deepest room, and I feel like that still. And they're just a great group of young men that love to compete.
More for me. So, what was the message to the team out there before the defensive stand that won you the game? What were you and the other coaches saying to the guys to send them back out there one last time? Let's get this stop and let's get this victory.
Well, I mean, besides the technical aspects of it, like I said, we talked all week about, it was going to be a fight, and not with our hands, but with our feet. And, we were going to fight. 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 not a fist fight, but a fight with our minds and a fight with our football abilities. And, we just remind them, hey man, this thing, it ain't over. Because if we'd have got to stop earlier, we'd have had to get a couple first downs. They may have had to go back out there. You don't never know how it would have played out. So my message was just, hey, we're in round 15 now. We got to finish the round. We got to finish the round. We got to play smart. We showed them Motley and Frazier, for 15th round, and they're both dead tired, and they're both, been beating on each other for forever. And it's the guy that can muster up the energy to mentally and physically do what he has to do is the guy that's going to win the game. I really felt like, our last offensive series and our last defensive series emulated that round. And I think our young men bought into that and played not only with their minds, but with their bodies too.
Central Arkansas coming off that win. You need a big crowd again this weekend. And no reason why fans shouldn't come back out. But, after that win, it seems like maybe the fan base a little bit more rejuvenated now, get a win like that. So what would you tell folks to get them out there, to get you guys some more support and, kind of keep this thing going through these last 3 games?
Right. Well, I would just tell them, you want to see a really good football team? 2 really good football teams go at it. Come out and see us play, Central Arkansas at 2:00 on Saturday, because you're going to see Dave Walker's probably one of the best players in FCS, if not the best player in FCS as a defensive end. Shaderick Powell and Darius Hale are 2 really, really talented tailbacks. Their quarterback is really, really talented. Then you come over to us, and I think, coming off our game that we had on Saturday, going to Texas and beating the number 7 team in the nation, and doing it in the fashion that we did it. You're going to see talented people on defense. Mike Smith is one of the best safeties in the country, getting all-star game looks. And we've had I don't know if we've had all 32, but we've had 28, 30 teams come here and look at Mike. And multiple times we've had directors of player personnel and all this come in here. Peyton Collins is another great offensive tackle that's going to play in the league. Josh Carter is another great one. And, just on and on. I mean, our D-line is one of the better D-lines that you'll find, I think. And, those are the things that if you want to come out and enjoy tailgate and enjoy, everything that goes on and watch a really good football game at an economical price, then get on over here. We need you. We need your support. We need our students to be loud. We need their students to be our 2 games in Texas, man, those students got behind our bench. We had to get cops over there to keep them, to keep it under control at times, because they are absolutely wearing our tails out. I don't hear it, but Griff and Brez and all these guys have got to deal with it the whole game, with the players and the GAs and all that, trying to keep our players from climbing the walls and trying to keep them from coming down the walls. And I just think it's, great football to come watch. And I don't think there's anything else going on around the area this weekend. So come on in.
All right, Cameron Drummond.
Hey there, Walt. Appreciate the time. Congrats on the win this past weekend. I know you've kind of touched on the all 3 phases aspects of it already, but just having execution in all 3 phases to produce that victory in terms of confidence from getting those repetitions and getting that execution with the end product, how much do you think that can, really push you guys through the final 3 weeks of the season, just knowing that you guys were able to put it all together this past week and have such a monumental win?
I think it's very important for our confidence. I mean, when you put in all that work and you say all these things that we say, we have our core values: passion, purpose, and pride, and toughness. When we go over them constantly, we've been going over them all year with our kind of our leadership training stuff that we do with our players board, and then bring them to the team. I mean, I think when they see those things coming to light and the efforts that they put in paying off, it makes anybody, a little more confident, feel a little better about themselves. But it's like I told them, Cameron, and I don't mean this to be Debbie Downer or anything, but, you're humbled in 7 days in this profession. I mean, it just takes 7 days to humble you more than you can ever imagine. So just take it for what it is. enjoy it, you know, but we got to embrace the next challenge and we got to embrace the week. And, you know, we didn't win that game just on Saturday. We won that game on Tuesday's practice, Wednesday's practice, and Thursday's practice, Friday's travel, Saturday's travel. And we won it through that. And so, you know, they have to emulate those things as we get ready for a home game against another ranked opponent, a really good opponent.
Got it. And last thing for me would just be a defense focused question. I know you talked about Mike just a second ago, but to hold a top 10 team in the country at their place to only one touchdown, to keep them out of the end zone for the final, I think it was 3.5 quarters of that game. What can you say about that unit? And do you think there's anything either in the preparation or just the in-game execution and communication that's really improved the last couple of weeks to lead to a performance like that?
Well, I think what we did is we found out who we are a little better. You know, Southern Utah and Abilene Christian kind of showed us who we needed to become, and we focused in on that, and as coaches, and got that message across to our players, and our players took it to the field and executed. And I think that's how that happened. You know, you got to make a team one-dimensional, and that's what we tried to do. And you know, they picked on our true freshman. He was probably the third or fourth play in the game that he's ever played really like that. And so, you know, he was there, but he wasn't ready. And then after that, I mean, literally maybe the next play he was in the game, he knocks the ball up and Mike hits it, and then it comes back to him and he almost scores a touchdown. So, you know, kudos to DJ for having that mentality next play, not worrying about what happened last time. But you know, for our defense to hold them to one touchdown was pretty incredible. And you know, that's credit to Coach Johnson and Jake Johnson and his staff, and putting the plan together and executing that plan and getting that plan taught throughout and working you know, I mean, we did things that we don't normally do because of how they did some certain things. And I think that really helped our kids focus and understand what to do. And I think that really helped us. And you know, our kids went out there and played with an energy, and they were bought into what we were teaching. And I give them credit too. I mean, they're the ones that did it. The players did it. And, you know, so kudos to both those guys.
All right. Turn things over to Vince Stover now. Vince?
Hey, Coach. How you doing?
How you doing?
Doing good. My camera's following right as I get on. Okay. Offensively, obviously, you got the win. A lot of great stuff on the ground. Only threw the ball 11 times. Was that the game plan going into it, or is that just adjustments made during the game?
Well, I don't ever think we go in saying we're going to throw it, you know, X amount of times or run it X amount of times. We know we are, you know, if anybody follows us, we're pretty much a balanced offense. We're going to run it 20, 30 times, and we're going to throw it, you know, if we can, you know, 30 times probably normal. But when we got into the game, we knew we went into the week knowing, hey, we felt like we could run the football. Okay. And now we got to go out and do it, but we felt like we had the opportunity. And we knew that we had to limit the opportunities they had and we had to keep our defense fresh. So our game plan was to run the football. But, you know, we're never not going to just, you know, we never thought we'd throw it 11 times for 30 yards. I mean, you know, that's not what we thought. But we wanted to be able to execute the run game. And, you know, what was good is we didn't have a lot of negative yard plays. And so that really kept us out of having to force the ball down the field. And when we did, you know, a couple of times, Matt scrambled and made some big runs for us. And then we started calling some draws, and that helped out a little bit. And so we weren't turning the ball over. Our defense was playing lights out. We were moving the ball. Now we got down there twice and didn't get in, you know, and so that's the negative of that. But then we turned around the one time and got it right back and got in. And then the other one was the fumble. So we've got to improve on that. But that was kind of our game plan going into it.
Defense obviously has been great. We talked a lot about it already. Maddox now has had 2 straight weeks where he's made some big plays. And how exciting is it to see a young guy like him really stepping into his role and growing every week?
Well, I'm glad you said that because that's what he's doing. He's growing, and he's always had the ability. And you've got to see it, you've got to learn it, and you've got to go through it sometimes. And sometimes you got to make mistakes to learn from them. And that's the biggest thing he's doing is he's made some mistakes, early this year, last year that he's learned from, and he's growing. I won't forget this moment because it was in that last drive. Maybe the drive that they stopped to give us the ball back so we could score. He came up to me and said, "Coach, we're not losing this game." I said, "I agree. I'm 100% with you, big dog." And so his confidence is growing too. And he's a positive energy, fine young man, raised the right way. His parents did a great job raising him, and he's a thumper, man. He likes to hit, and he's athletic. So we're very blessed to have him, and he's playing very well.
I've been really intrigued with the veterans on your team this year, how positive they've been really from day one. And you guys have the tough loss with Utah, and there's a lot of pressure on this team now to win out. I know you take it week to week. I know that's the coach speak, but how do you feel about how these guys have handled this pressure?
I think they've handled it great because we say win out, week by week, just go 1-0 mentality. And that's what they've done. Yesterday in the meeting, they were excited, they were happy, but they were ready to, hear where we can get better. We had a players board meeting, and there was, hey, we played well, we did this, we did that, but we still know there's room to grow. And when they recognize those things and they call those things out, I think it's slowly becoming a player-led, not slowly, but it is becoming a player-led team, which is what you really want, and all you have to do is kind of guide it and make sure, keep it in the guardrails here. And I think that's where we're heading right now. And, that can all change. We come out here and lay an egg on Saturday, then, none of these conversations are going on, but I'm just proud of the way that our leadership, like you said, and these are guys that have been with us. They've been with us 4 and 5 years, and, I'm proud of it because they're proud to be colonels. And that's what we're trying to make sure that we build here is, we have a great reputation, but we have to be proud ourselves to be part of that reputation. And I think they're starting to do it.
You guys come off a big win. Central Arkansas comes off a big loss. How do you guys handle as a staff? Hey, the energy is great. We're excited about this win, but we've really got to dial it back in now.
That's the other thing I told the team and told the players. They're proud. Central Arkansas is a proud program. Okay. And, they're going to come in here, not the same team that was in, St. George, not the same team up there. They're going to come down here and they're going to be up here and they're going to be ready to go. They're a good football team. They've got a veteran quarterback. They've got 2 tailbacks that are dynamite. They got receivers that can do, they can get open and make plays. They got a big offensive line. Then defensively, they're one of the better defensive. Like I said, they got probably the Buck Buchanan Award winner and going to be in the Senior Bowl and going to be a draft pick and tackle. And he wreaked havoc on us last year. And, they've got a solid secondary with a good front seven. Guys, it ain't going to be easy, but that's the good thing about this conference. And the bad thing is that there's not a weekend off. There really isn't. I remember last week, people were mad that we didn't blow out, Utah Tech, by 4 or 5 touchdowns. And I'm like, it's college football. It's hard to do. And we won by 2 scores. I thought that was pretty good. But then they go and beat the number 16 team in the nation at 0-9.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes for our conference, I think, the UAC, and what has been built here. And so, we just got to be, we got to snap what we call snapping clear and be ready to go.
Last thing I got for you is obviously your playmakers are making plays. This week we saw DJ, you already talked about. Caleb Schlachter comes in, fills in, and gets 3 catches as well. So how exciting is it to see the depth of the team really showing through at this point in the year?
Well, and it is. It's great because, some young guys are kind of like this most of the time. You wish they were just constantly evolving and getting better and better, but that's not how the human mind works really. And so you're seeing some guys, Caleb Slacker was a wide receiver in South Alabama, moved to tight end and then transferred here to play tight end. So he's really playing tight end for the first time, and so he's going to have some up and down moments. And he came in and did some nice things. And the rest of the guys are getting better and better. Ron Van had a good third down conversion on that last drive, or second to last drive. I can't remember. But, there's some guys that are understanding who we are and what we are and how we do things. And it's just good to see that. And it's good to see Caden, Caden Smith, true freshman, played probably 25, 30 snaps at linebacker, which is huge, which gave Marcellus more energy to play the way he played and gave Braden Sullivan more energy play the way he played. So, it's huge to see those guys. And like I said, true freshman DJ Galvin played for him, and when Vito got hurt. And so, it's just good to see those guys coming in and watching them just progress throughout the season and get better and better. So hopefully it'll help us with the future too.
Well, congrats, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Oh, all right, Coach. Thank you as always for your time. Appreciate it. And we'll now move into our student athlete part of the press conference, starting with Matt Morrissey.
Thank you.
Matt, you there?
Yeah, here I am.
All right. All right, Matt, we'll start with opening questions. Vince, you got any questions for Matt?
Yeah. Hey, Matt, man, you flashed the running skills this week. Coach said that necessarily wasn't part of the plan. It became the plan during the game as well. When you started getting more draw calls and things like that, did it excite you? What's the mindset with, hey, let's go out and run over some people?
Yeah, I think it definitely did excite me. It kind of just gave me the opportunity to show like another part of my game that I haven't really got to show yet. So, I was definitely excited that he kept calling the draws and stuff and just, showing some toughness and just, trying to get the team some momentum as well.
And what can be done? He talked about, just little things here and there. They had the one interception, Latham had the one fumble, and it's not a lot, obviously in the grand scheme of things, you guys got the win. That's what matters the most. But what's that process now of trying to clean things up? It's a pretty big game coming up this weekend.
Yeah, I think definitely just, this week of practice is going to be a big week for us again. Another ranked opponent that we got, and, definitely just seeing from last game, got to clean up all those little things. And, we still haven't played that perfect game on offense yet where, we're firing on all cylinders yet. So, it still gives us something to work for as well.
And then Josh Carter obviously is amazing. The O-line, though, it has to be acknowledged as well. We saw some good stuff from Tyrell as well as John and Peyton and the other guys on the right side too. So what did you see this week from the O-line that maybe has been a step forward from throughout the season?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the O-line played great. Earlier this week in practice, they actually Coach kind of gave them a challenge. I thought they stepped up and, went above and beyond. And, I'm excited to see them keep, building into this next week as well. And, yeah, I thought, they played great. They opened up some holes in the run game as well. And I thought Josh, played great as well with those opportunities they gave him.
That's all I got. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
All right, Cameron Drummond.
Hey there, Matt. Appreciate the time. First, I just wanted to kind of ask about the evolution of the offense. Obviously, you guys have evolved and changed some things from the start of the season. Can you just speak to where you guys feel, or where you feel you guys are at as an offensive unit right now, and yourself, just how much more comfortable and locked in you feel with your teammates now compared to August or September?
Yeah, I think we still got a lot to clean up, but we've been showing that we can run the ball as well, and in the past we've thrown the ball. So I think we're still pushing for where we're clicking on all cylinders, where the run game and the pass game is working at the same time as well. And I think that gives us something every single week to look forward to, and keep pushing forward get that complete game.
Yeah, what Josh has been able to do in the backfield this season, and just having some of those big rushing nights, maybe open some more stuff up in the passing game, or give you guys a bit of a balance. Just how critical has that been to you guys continuing to click and have success as an offense?
Yeah, I mean, Josh has been a huge part of the offense. I feel like there's no one else who deserves it more than him. Since I've been here, he's always kind of been, a gym rat, just always on the field, in the weight room, just always putting in that extra work. If I ever went to the field, I knew he was going to be there. So, yeah, I think, the success he's having on the field isn't like a surprise to me. I kind of saw it, all that work he's been putting in has, been coming to light now. So he's definitely been giving our offense a big spark, and, he's a huge person that we can lean on.
Yeah, I know you touched on it a second ago with Vince, but I think Coach was telling us when he was speaking with us earlier that after the game he went up to you and told you that, hey, you earned some respect, some more kind of toughness, credit with your teammates because of the physicality that you played with last week in Texas. Can you just kind of speak to maybe what that comment from Coach meant to you, and also just the response from your teammates, if there has been any, just with the style of physicality you played with against Tarleton?
Yeah, it meant a lot hearing that from Coach. Just seeing that, he appreciated how I played. The pass game wasn't, working, but, I got opportunities to help in the run game. And I felt like, I gave my all to try and do the best I could. And, yeah, when Coach said that to me, it meant a lot. And I really appreciated it. And then, just seeing the team, I feel like, some of my favorite part is, making a good play. But, something I like better than that is, when you see, like, you hear them on the sideline or, watching the film and you see their reaction, like they kind of showed the play where I had a pretty good run and I kind of ran someone over, and just, seeing my teammates on the sideline jump up and down, it made me feel good about myself. So I feel like that's, always been like one of my favorite parts of football, is not just making the play, but, seeing your teammates and like their reaction to how excited they get for you. It just gives you, that fuel to keep wanting to make plays for them.
Got it. Yeah. And last thing for me is obviously it took all three phases for you guys to win that game on Saturday night, offense, defense, special teams, being able to have everyone kind of, clicking on the same page and being able to beat a top 10 team on the road as a collective unit. Just how much confidence does that give you and your teammates heading into the three final weeks of the season as you guys try and win out?
Yeah, it gives us a lot of confidence, just seeing the defense, how good they were this past weekend. They've really been good this whole season, but especially that last drive, it's a big confidence boost for the offense too, just knowing that you got that strong defense on your side, one of the best defense in the conference that you're playing with. And then, special teams been doing great. Pat, record, he broke some records, and, Baker's been doing great punting the ball. So just, it gives us a lot of confidence. But, a thing we said in the players board meeting is we still felt like, yeah, we did pretty good, but we still felt like we haven't played as well as we can. Offense, we've made mistakes. Defense, there are some mistakes. So it still kind of gives us that edge to keep going, as, this is kind of the most important stretch of the season for us as well.
And Matt, a few questions from me. Obviously, you showed some real effectiveness with RPOs, draws, and then just scrambling sometimes with your feet, which you've talked about. Two is kind of a two-parter. One, is that something that was part of the game prep for you guys in the game plan going into it to start using the legs a little bit more? And then two, with that now kind of being on film some more, how are you going to prepare for teams now seeing that and kind of now getting ready to stop that element of your game? And how do you plan on adjusting to that?
Just, the game plan, obviously, when you're running the ball so much, they're going to, start loading the boxes, and the edge of the defense are going to start trying to crash in. So as a quarterback, you got to be ready to pull when those ends, get too aggressive, because, Josh was running it so great. Even, BB, when he was in, he was running it really well as well. And the O-line was blocking so good. So just you always got to be ready each week as a quarterback to, when you get that pull read off the edge, to pull it. So it wasn't really part of the game plan, but, as the game went, we adjusted, and, it became part of it. And then just going in the weeks, just, got to make adjustments as they come, like we did.
Right. And now you get ready for a UCA team that's coming off of an upset of their own, them being on the negative side of that. How are you guys trying to balance that, excitement of getting your road win and all the energy that comes with knocking off a top 10 team, and then also then having to come back down to earth per se with keeping that confidence, but also keeping that focus that you're going to need to take on a really talented Central Arc team?
Yeah, I think just having that mentality of going 1-0 each week. You can't never get too high, never get too low. So, obviously we got that big win and it meant a lot to a lot of us, but that win won't mean nothing if we don't go out there and, get another win this week. So I think everyone on the team kind of feels the same. Like, we're not going to let that win get our heads too big, but we're going to keep that confidence knowing that we can, play to that level of football and just, go out there and prove it again this week as well.
All right, Matt, that's all we got for you. Appreciate your time as always. Good luck this Saturday.
Thank you.
We'll now bring Jordon Thomas in for the call.
Yeah, what's up?
All right, Jordan. We'll start with Vince Stover. Vince, I'll let you ask your questions for Jordan.
Hey, Jordan, congrats on the win, of course. You're leading the team in pass breakups this year. I kind of feel like, at least the games that I've been there in person, the home games, I feel like teams have kind of come after you more than on the other side of the field. How have you felt about just the preparation and kind of what you've seen on the field as far as teams coming after you?
Yeah, so I just honed in on my technique. It's more so like the fade balls, and last year I wasn't too good with the fade balls, and I just kind of honed in on my technique to defend that and just do the best I can to just keep our defense off the field.
And last week, Tarleton, it was a relatively balanced attack, but they threw the ball a ton. I mean, 40, I think 41 times, something like that. And especially in some times of the game where I thought it made sense for them to run the ball, they threw the ball. Were you surprised at all by their passing efforts against you guys, especially, second half?
Yeah, I feel like they were trying to get the ball in their best players' hands, and you know, we packed the box that game because they had such a really good running back, and they left the corners on island, so they tried to get their ball to the best receivers. I was on number 6 the whole game, and that was their best receiver, so I feel like they tried to get it to him a lot, and it was a one-on-one situation, 50-50 ball, so they took their shot.
And then this week, we've talked about it. Central Arkansas got beat last week, and the surprise, you guys got a massive win. So how are you guys able to control just the energy this week to make sure it's all dialed in and ready for Central Arkansas?
Oh yeah, we come in and we're thinking the job's not finished. We're on the road to a conference championship, and they're just in the way. We're all focused on the same goal, and that's the conference championship. And to go undefeated at Roy Kent Stadium, and they play us home, so they're just in the way.
Thanks, Jordan.
All right, Cameron Drummond.
Hey there, Jordan. Just one question for me. Obviously, the defense has really stepped up, especially the last couple of weeks. You guys only held Tarleton State to one touchdown, and that was early in the game in the first quarter. Just what's really clicked the last couple of weeks to allow the defense to play so well and to help produce such a big win like you guys had last Saturday?
Just faith and trusting in each other. The defensive coordinator said this game's on the corners, this game's on you guys, because they were packing the box, and that left us on our own on our island. So just trust. They trusted in the DBs to do their job, and we trusted in them, and that's when magic happened.
All right, and Jordan, something this team has talked about, this entire offseason has been finish. That's been a mantra that's been such a big part of this team's identity and wanting to finish games. You guys probably had your toughest challenge to finish a game this past Saturday, and the defense stepped up and did that. How much confidence does that instill in you guys, and how rewarding is that for you as a player, as a defensive unit, and as an entire team that you guys can live up to that mantra? And what's it going to take now to finish this season, like you said, by saying, the job's not finished yet?
It takes immense focus. I mean, we have to focus on each week. We have to stay focused on that week, and sounds easy saying it, but it's a hard task to just focus on the opponent ahead of you just that week. And we talk all the time about just winning the week, and that's the goal this week, just win the week.
All right, Jordan, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you. Now we'll move to Mr. All-time kicking points record holder, Patrick Nations. Patrick, welcome. Vince, we'll start with your questions.
Well, Pat, I know it's a great day for golf, so I'm sorry that you're here. But congrats on the record. We talked a couple weeks ago about Parker had all these records coming in his last year. Have you talked with him and reminded him, first of all, thank him for not scoring touchdowns in those last couple of years, and then also saying, hey, it's taken me only 3.5 years to set these records.
Yeah, no, I mean, I haven't talked to Parker in a little while. I think he moved out. He used to be my neighbor. I think he moved out like a couple of weeks ago, but I used to see him here and there. But you know how Parker is, really quiet, humble guy. So I don't think, me and him really never had any conversations about records or just banter between each other, because I mean he's just a great, humble guy.
So how does it feel to have these? I mean, this is not the first record you've gotten this season. Just having that again, that obviously the team goals are always in the forefront, but having these individual successes as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, the team goals, obviously they come first. We still need to stay undefeated here at the Roy Kidd Stadium, conference championship. Now it's a lot more reasonable in our path now after this past week. But, as well as, my personal goals, it's a big weight lifted. Not as in the sense of like, I was just sitting there like nervous or anything like that. It was just, something that I've been going after for a long time. And, now that it's finally here, just keep on going.
And then as a whole on special teams, we've seen Baker really play well this year. Great punts. Saw Duff get a tackle this week as well. Coach Day last year just brought a lot of energy, it seems like, to that whole group as well. So special teams this year has been very good. Monty's been great in the return game. Also, you've been kicking, Bake, all these things happening. What can you say about the special teams unit this year at EKU?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Day's brought a different energy to this unit. I mean, every day, in meetings, it's not our special teams meetings, it's not really, quiet where you sit there, you go over film, your assignments, take notes, whatever. I mean, it's loud, interactive, people yelling. Just trying to get the juice up, just trying to get everybody motivated. Because I mean, special teams it's that melting pot of a program. Because I mean, you got offense, defense, and then the specialists, obviously. So then it's just, I think the big success for our special teams is that everybody's bought in on special teams. Everybody knows that they have to play their hearts out, every play on that, because it could be the difference of the game.
Hey, thanks, Pat. Congrats, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, Cameron.
Yeah, just a couple from me. Pat, I'm curious, I mean, obviously you've been around EKU football for a long time. You've seen some great wins. I guess, where did last week kind of stack up just in terms of having a gratifying success? And obviously a top 10 win on the road is probably pretty memorable, but just where does it kind of rank in terms of your favorite or most meaningful EKU football memories?
It definitely ranks up there. I mean, getting a top 10 win on the road, I mean, winning on the road, period, is a really hard thing to do. But I mean, add the top 10 on it, it makes it a little sweeter. I would say it's probably, gosh, I don't know if I can say it's the most memorable game. I think it's probably the second most. I would say the most memorable is Bowling Green 2 years ago, 7 overtimes. I think that's just that one's a pretty high standard. That one's kind of hard to beat.
Yeah, definitely. And last one for me would just be, I know you've kind of talked about the record and, getting some of these personal milestones this year, but to have a game in which all three, phases of the team really came together, offense, defense, special teams, to produce that kind of win. Just what does it maybe say about this year's group in terms of their evolution, that you guys were able to all kind of coalesce at one moment for a big win? And as you mentioned, really kind of keep your guys' conference championship hopes alive in the process?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's just the course of, this entire season. Each and every game that we've played, they've all, helped develop us or make us learn something that, really led up to that moment, led up to that game. I mean, defense, they played lights out. They took some big shots on them. they got a couple, which is going to happen. I mean, when you got one of the best running backs in the country and, you got great deep ball threats, like, they're called 50-50 balls for a reason. Like, they're going to catch some. But like Coach Wells preached to us all week, it's a 15-round fight. You get hit with the deep ball, it's not the end of the world. I mean, it's the same with the offense. Had a couple turnovers, but they came back. Defense, offense turned it over. Then defense said, "Okay, we got your back. We're going to step it up." And then that's what they did. They got that pick that very next play. In special teams, Baker had a great day. I think he had a 60-yard punt. 60-yard punt. I think he had 2 inside the 20, 1 on the 10 or something like that. And then obviously, Duff got his tackle. So that was a good moment for him.
Pat, something that we talked about earlier and we featured earlier in the year, but we got kind of captured a cool moment of when you broke the record. First person to dap you up and give you a hug was Duff, and you guys have been through this entire journey together, like we've talked about earlier in the year. How special was that moment, though? Because I know this milestone, this record was something that you've been talking about since the end of last year, about something and before the season that you wanted to accomplish, and to do that and do that with the person that's been with you for pretty much all of those kicks. How special was that moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's a moment that you can't really you can't really describe. It's not even like words were really said. It's just more of like, a handshake and a hug. Because I mean, we both know how much each other means to each other, or one another means to each other. We got a great friendship and a great bond. I mean, he's been there through the ups and the downs. I mean, he's as solid as they come when it comes to the snapping position. And as a friend, I mean, he's one of my best friends. Like, we've been through it all.
Yeah, absolutely, Pat. Pat, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Media members, thanks for joining us on the EKU Football Weekly Zoom press conference. And we'll see you on Saturday. Thank you all.
Yeah, appreciate it.